today. Emily Igo is a Wake Tech graduate, woo-hoo, and legal advocate and case manager with the Durham Crisis Response Center. She's been doing the kind of work she does now since she was a student here. She got started, and we'd be talking, and she'd have to run off, sadly, to a court, or to the jail, or to the hospital. Right? She's been really involved in this kind of work for a while, and we're so glad to have her here today. So please welcome Emily.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. So, like Ms. Brivogel said, I've been doing this work for about a year. So, I live in Durham. That's why I work for the Durham Crisis Response Center. I started as a volunteer. So, my job as a legal advocate and a case manager is anyone that comes in and wants to take out a criminal charge or wants to file a protective order in a case that's related to domestic violence or sexual assault. They come into our office and we help them navigate the criminal system. We help them file the protective order. If there are already criminal charges, we accompany them to court. If they write a victim impact statement, we can read that for them in court. We can help them write it. We can accompany them to court. But also one of the things that we do is community outreach, community education. And February is Teen Dating Violence Awareness Month. So I thought it would be kind of a good idea to come here and talk about it with students that know a little, may not know a whole bunch, but would be interested in it instead of maybe going to a middle school or a high school where they just have to learn about it. Good. So the first thing I want to talk to you guys about is what do you guys think healthy relationships are? What do they look like to you? So what do they look like to you?
A mutual relationship where you both kind of benefit from each other.
Okay, what do you mean by benefit?
I don't know, like you each make each other happy.
Okay.
Yeah. To me, it's a happy relationship between two people, and that don't change that you had family and friends before you met the person.
Right.
You're still allowed to go off with your family and friends if you choose to, and then come back together without somebody being crazy.
Yeah. Anybody else? So absolutely, they're based on equality and respect. You make decisions together. You can openly discuss whatever you're dealing with. You can spend time apart, or you can spend time together, and it's kind of equal. You don't feel pressured to do one over the other. So one of the big key components that a lot of relationships struggle with, especially I find in younger relationships, is communication. They think they communicate well, but they don't necessarily get their point across, or they don't bring it about in a way that is actually helpful to the relationship. So we're going to talk a little bit about how maybe we can change that. But these are definitely 5 of the most important key components. Obviously there's more, but these are the ones that we kind of want to bring out the most, because these are the components that make the relationship the most successful. Go ahead. So unhealthy relationships, what do those look like to you guys?
One person is way more controlling than the other.
Yeah.
Too forceful.
Yeah. One person's really abusive.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was in a relationship like that in my 40s. I wasn't really young then, in my 40s, and I've never been in a relationship like that where I couldn't even wear the washcloth. I decided, I want to wash my face. I couldn't wear the washcloth because I'm getting beat because I washed my face. And then you come home and the washcloth's wet. So now I got a lot of turmoil because of that.
Right.
So that's what unhealthy is.
Anybody else? Yeah.
I would say somebody that isn't inspiring the other person to do the best they can.
Okay. Which one do you guys think we see more of, in the media, or even around school or on television? What do you think we see more of?
I see more from manipulative behavior.
It's unhealthy relationships more often. Yeah, are you gonna say something?
Usually like in marriage couples, like they're not as physical as much.
Mhm.
So like there could be like some aspects that are not allowing the physical barrier between the two.
Yeah, absolutely. Anybody else?
Quick question about unhealthy relationships. Would you consider someone's jealousy a factor in an unhealthy relationship?
I would if the jealousy was heightening the emotions in the relationship. So what I mean by that is if it's all the time jealousy and it's kind of, they're trying to limit who you talk to and who you hang out with and your moves, then yes, that's definitely like a big red flag.
Okay.
So a big thing that we're starting to see in teen dating violence is this pressuring the partner about sex, and it's kind of a topic that a lot of teens like don't want to talk about with other people, and it's always been like that. But we are seeing a lot more of that. Of they've been together for 6 months or 8 months or maybe even a year, and they've not been physical with each other yet, and one of them is pressuring the other into feel like if they really love that person, then they would be they would have sex already. But the other person isn't ready to do that and doesn't know how to communicate that they still want to be in the relationship, but they don't want it to take it to that level yet. So, go ahead. So these are the 5 key components we tell people to look for in an unhealthy relationship. Now, an unhealthy relationship doesn't automatically have to be an abusive relationship. There can be components in one that don't really match the other, or you can be in an unhealthy relationship and it lead to an abusive relationship. Okay. So the last one we're going to talk about relationship-wise is abusive relationships. So does anybody have anything about that one that you would find? Not just hitting, but what else do you guys think would be something that would happen in an abusive relationship? Verbal abuse, like what?
Abuse too, and screaming, saying things to me, that could be abuse too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Emotional abuse, like manipulation and stuff.
Yeah, manipulation is huge in an abusive relationship. That's really what the whole abusive relationship is about, is that person's ability to manipulate you and to belittle you and make you feel like they're the only person you can trust, they're the only person that you can love, they're the only person that loves you. Manipulation, isolation is another huge one, and it goes hand in hand with manipulation all the time. Go ahead. What do you guys think blame shifting? What do you think that looks like in an abusive relationship?
Like when someone does something wrong and you tell them and then they try to make excuses to put the blame on you.
Mm-hmm. What else?
I don't know, I can kind of give an example. It's like if you're driving a car
Mm-hmm.
and your significant other's in the passenger seat and you crash it and you're like, it's all your fault. That's kind of blame shifting.
Yeah. Anybody else? Yeah.
Well, I mean, you could be riding in the car and for no reason, you know, that person get an attitude. And you might be looking this way, and your mind might be thinking, thought or something, so you're in a trance right now, but then a guy walk by and they think you're looking at the guy, so then you get bust all in your face for that.
Mm-hmm. Another thing that's pretty common with blame shifting, especially with physical abuse, is the abuser will say, I was so angry at you that I had to hit you. Or you made me so angry that I had to hit you. I wouldn't have done that if you hadn't have made me so angry. That's one of the big things that we see is not even with physical abuse, but it's always the abuser saying, you did this to some extent that I had to react the way I did.
You know what I hear all the time is abusers say, you know which buttons to push. If you wouldn't push those buttons, I would
Absolutely.
hit you. And that drives me crazy.
Absolutely. We hear that almost every day. I do. All right, so now we're going to talk about boundaries in a relationship. So what are boundaries that you might have in your personal relationship? Don't everybody jump at once to answer. Yeah.
Well, I don't know how to really put this, but
Go ahead.
man, it's hard to put this into words.
Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome. I don't know, one of the boundaries I might have is like, I don't know, I kind of try to be like a fair person in a relationship. I kind of try to set boundaries to like what the other person wants. Like I'll try to have the same boundaries as like my significant other has.
Yeah.
Like if she doesn't want me to like, I don't know, hang out with a bunch of girls, then I would expect the same thing with her if I'm not hang out with a bunch of guys.
What else?
No, I'm just gonna say, I don't have any boundaries, so I'm just as happy as I can be now.
Okay, that's perfectly fine too. Anybody else? Okay. So the first set of boundaries we're going to talk about are emotional. And in that, the first one we're going to talk about is the L word. What do you guys think that would be? Love. Now, a lot of times, what we find is one person says it and the other person doesn't, and it's a huge fight because that other person didn't say it. Why do you think that would be such a huge fight? Or an argument? That's a better term.
Because it's such a strong thing to say.
Yeah, it invokes such a strong reaction or such a strong feeling.
Makes you vulnerable.
Yeah, absolutely. Anybody else? So with the L word, if you're in a relationship and your partner says it and you don't feel like you're ready to say it yet, it's absolutely okay to say to your partner, I heard you, this is how it felt when you said it to me, but I'm not ready to say it to you yet. And depending on how your partner reacts to that, it's probably a good gauge of your relationship. So if your partner says, I understand that, and I may continue to say that, and I don't expect you to say it back, it's kind of a healthy relationship. But if you tell them that, and their response is angry, and if you loved me, you'd say it back, or why won't you say it back? Am I not good enough for you? It's kind of a little indicator that maybe it's not as healthy as you thought it was. The second one I want to talk about is time apart. So in a healthy relationship, time apart means you can go with your friends and they can go with theirs. You don't feel bad going to baseball practice. You don't feel bad going to the mall with your cousins and not spending every moment with them. And again, if that's something you've talked about with your partner and their reaction is aggressive, you need to think about why they may feel like that and what their true intentions may be. Next one I want to talk about is physical. What kind of physical boundaries may you guys have in a relationship?
Personal space.
Personal space?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know, like me personally, I think the sky's the limit.
Okay. So the first one I want to talk about with you guys is to take your time. What do you think of when you see that? What does that mean in a relationship to take your time?
Not to rush anything too fast. Just kind of go it by ease, see how it plays out.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and also then take your time to really get to know the person.
Right, okay. So one thing that's pretty common is people our age will say, well, so-and-so and his girlfriend have already, done this, and they're spending the night together, and they do this together. Why don't we do that? But you're not ready to do that, or you're not in that stage in your relationship. So again, it's perfectly okay to say, I know that they do that, but we aren't there yet. I don't feel comfortable doing that yet. Sex isn't currency. What does that mean?
somebody's sex.
Absolutely.
I was just gonna say, sex isn't the only thing that faces like a relationship,
Mhm.
so it's not the only thing that really matters in a relationship. It's just
Absolutely.
one of the things.
We live in a very privileged and entitled time right now. And sometimes in relationships, somebody feels like if they took you out to dinner or they bought you, a really nice outfit or really nice jewelry, that in return, you owe them sex. That's how you pay them back for what they've done for you. Not because you're in a relationship and they want to do those things for you, but they're doing it to get something out of it in return. The last one I want to talk about is pretty big also in our generation, is digital boundaries. So like social media. What kind of boundaries would you have in that instance, in your relationship?
I've been with my girlfriend for 2 years and I've never asked her for password. Like, I wouldn't want to have someone go through my stuff, so.
What else? Yeah.
Like for me, I'm not really like a social media type of person. I'm more like a outdoor type of person. So I don't really care. Like I feel like if I can trust my partner enough to date her, then I can trust her with my partner. And if I can't trust her with my Facebook password, how am I going to trust her with like being alone for a week and not cheating?
Okay. Anybody else? So I'm going to kind of disagree with you on that. Not that your opinion is wrong. I'm not saying that it is. But in a relationship, you should have the right to keep your passwords private. So I'm not wholeheartedly disagreeing with you, just a little bit. You don't necessarily want someone going through your Facebook or your Instagram or your Twitter or whatever you guys use, I don't know, and seeing whose pictures you've liked or who's liked yours or maybe who you've messaged, because that could start a fight, right? And I've seen it plenty of times that he was going through my Facebook and somebody messaged me and he thought my response was too flirtatious. But it was just innocent. Or a big one, what we see now is, well, he knows the passcode to my phone, so he's always reading my texts and asking me about them, and he's asking who I'm calling and why I'm calling them so often. And it's a huge communication issue, because these people haven't said, hey, I don't really like that when you do that, and I need my privacy too. Photos and sexting. What kind of boundary would that look like in your relationship?
Well, I mean, that right there could really be a big fight, because like you sending pictures and stuff like that, and they get wind of that, and that's a big problem. But that's something I don't have to worry about, the digital part, because I don't have to go on those sites for that. Plus, I'm too busy trying to get to school assignment to be trying to worry about that right now anyway.
Yeah. Anyone else? Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, with that is like, I don't really know. Like, if my significant other wants to send me pictures, that's great and all, but that's not really like the whole thing.
Yeah.
Like if you want to do it, that's fine, Danny. But if you don't,
So the reason we bring these up are for couples to start the conversation about the expectations with photos and sexting. So if your partner sends you a photo or sexts you, is that the term? I don't know. I'm going to use it. And expects you to return, and you don't feel comfortable with that, what's that reaction going to look like? And again, it's one of those, the response is an indicator of your relationship. Because they may say, okay, it's fine that you don't feel ready to do that yet. Or they may say, well, I sent one to you, why can't you send one to me back? Another thing that we see a lot is they're in the abusive stage or they're in an unhealthy stage and the person says, well, you can't leave, or I'm going to put your nudes all over Instagram or all over Facebook, or I'm going to send them to your mom or your coach or your preacher or somebody that would be very detrimental to you. Or maybe you're in a same-sex relationship and the person says, well, I'm going to out you to everybody. I'm going to show them photos. I'm going to show them the messages that are on your Facebook or on your Instagram. What do you do then?
Isn't that why you shouldn't be sending photos like that in the first place? Because
I mean, I can't, I'm not your mom, so I can't be like, well, don't send them. So probably, yes, just to be safe. But if that's where you are in your relationship and you're comfortable doing that, then, I mean, that's what you're doing. But you need to know that that's, one of the risks with it. So I think that's the last one on that. All right, so now we're going to do a little activity. So if you guys will just kind of group up. Let's do like 5 or 6 in a group. That means you're actually going to have to like talk to people. I know you guys are like dreading that because you've not done anything like that, so. I'm going to give you guys like 5 minutes. And what I want you guys to do is read through your scenarios, figure out if they're healthy, unhealthy, abusive. And once you figured out what category that falls into, I want you guys to talk about how you would communicate with someone, with one of the people that was in this relationship about what their relationship looked like. So if it's abusive, I want you to like kind of pinpoint the abusive signs. If it's unhealthy, I want you to pinpoint what makes it unhealthy. If it's healthy, I want you to pinpoint what makes it healthy. All right, group 1, I'm going to have one of you guys read it, and you guys can talk about it with you guys.
So ours was Marcus and Lillian. So Marcus really likes Lillian. She's pretty smart. Marcus often feels nervous that he might lose her to another boy. He doesn't think she would ever cheat on him, but he does see her talking with other boys sometimes. It makes him feel so jealous he doesn't know what to do. He told her that she needed to stop talking with those boys, especially right in front of him. Lillian got upset with him and they had a huge fight. As they were arguing, Marcus felt so mad that he grabbed her by the arms to get her to listen to him and threw his book bag across the room. Marcus promised Lillian it would never happen again. He says that it was an accident. He didn't mean to hurt anyone. He just couldn't control himself.
Okay, what did your group discuss about that?
It's definitely unhealthy.
Okay, what makes it unhealthy?
How he grabbed her, and especially at the end, how he said he promised her that it would never happen again, saying it was an accident. He didn't even hurt anyone. So really makes it unhealthy.
Would you believe Marcus if he said he wasn't going to do it again? Why not?
Just because usually in someone in that situation, they know what they're doing, even though they say that. And most of the time when someone says that, they exactly know what they're doing, and that's why they say that. So to me, that would be a good indicator, yeah.
Absolutely. Anything else from the rest of you guys? Okay. Group 2, you guys had 2, right? All right, read your first one, and we'll do your first one, and then we can do the second one.
What is the best way to end an abusive relationship? My boyfriend is physically and emotionally abusive, but is threatening to tell my family I'm gay if I break up with him. I'm trapped and don't have anywhere to turn. Help.
So,
Male, senior.
what would you do in a situation like that? If somebody came to you and said, I need help with this situation, how would you?
We basically said in the situation, like, it may be best, I mean, if your family is nearby, to confront that fear and to tell your family, and they can probably support you in that situation. So.
Okay.
Yeah, just for the nature of it being so abusive
not. I don't think just because you're gay, your family would be happy to hear you're in an abusive relationship, so they would try to help you.
Okay. Here's your second one.
My boyfriend gets very upset at me when I'm not in the mood for sex. He has never hit me, but he yells a lot, threatens me, and calls me mean names. I fear for my safety, so usually I give it to him. What can I do to change this? What should I do if he ever becomes abusive? I'm a female junior.
What do you guys say?
We agreed that even though it's not physically abusive, it is an abusive relationship, especially because they fear for their safety, and because most of the time they do give him sex, even when they're not in the mood. It's not very consensual. It's like a borderline rape.
We said, she should contact probably an outside source to maybe provide help.
Like what?
He said maybe a suicide hotline.
Okay.
If your family's nearby.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, group 3. You guys also had 2 scenarios. Read your first one, discuss it, and then do the second one.
Alex and Taylor have been going out for 3 weeks and it's going great. Taylor loves all the attention Alex gives. Alex even walks Taylor to every class. One night after watching a movie at Taylor's house, Alex tells Taylor, "You mean the world to me. I love you. I don't want to share you with anyone else." At first, Taylor is excited and happy, doesn't share if he is ready to say it back. In fact, it makes Taylor a little uncomfortable. Taylor responds to Alex by saying, "That makes me feel really happy, but I think we still have a lot to get to know about each other. I'm not ready to say it back, but that doesn't mean I don't want to date you, or that I don't like you a lot." Alex gets angry and looks away and punches the couch cushion a few times and says, "It's fine. I'll wait for you. I can't live without you, so I can wait." This worries Taylor, but he doesn't want to upset Alex anymore, so he gives Alex a hug and they put on a hug.
Okay. What did your group discuss?
As signs of an unhealthy relationship because it originally starts with the couch cushion, but as the relationship progresses, it can lead to you being physically hurt.
What else?
That's creepy. I can't do it without you. So, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else with that one?
Well, it would be more upset it was a red flag, but it could have also been maybe like a misunderstanding
Okay.
or an overreaction.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Jamie and Jesse have been dating for a few weeks and they are having a great time together. Jesse told Jamie that she's the most amazing and attractive person in school. So it's Jesse's job to protect her from all the people that want to get with her. Jamie thinks it's kind of sweet that Jesse is protected, and Jamie and Jesse were out for lunch the other day. Jamie got up to use the restroom, and when she came back, Jesse was reading for protection. This made Jamie uncomfortable, even though she had nothing to hide. Jamie asked why Jesse was sneaking. Jesse said it was out of love to protect Jamie from all the manipulative people trying to steal her away. Jamie tried reassuring Jesse that she is smart enough to know when someone is manipulating her, that she doesn't want to be with anyone but Jesse anyway. Jesse insisted that Jamie hand over her passwords and allow Jesse to protect her. Jesse added that Jamie can be a little slow sometimes and isn't the brightest bulb in the shed. That's why she needs Jesse. This made Jamie doubt herself, but even though it didn't feel right and she didn't really want to, she gave Jesse her password.
What about this one?
Violating her privacy, that's what that is.
Okay.
And being the dominant.
What else?
Putting her down.
Yeah, I'm calling her. I thought before the first time I didn't know you were gonna do that.
What else?
Lack of communication with him too. So he feels like he needs to be more involved in what she's doing because he doesn't know. So that's why he decides to ask for her password.
And they calling her until start the dance and continue. She allows it.
Okay. Is there anything from the online students?
Oh, we're done.
Okay, cool. So one of the things that is that all these scenarios have in common is that all of them do one complete cycle through the cycle of abuse. You guys ever heard of the cycle of abuse? You ever seen a chart of it or anything? Okay. So the cycle of abuse starts with the honeymoon phase. The honeymoon phase. So what is that? What do you think that looks like in a relationship? Mm-hmm. What kind of things might happen in a honeymoon phase? Lots of gifts, lots of flowers, lots of affection. You guys go out all the time and everything's really nice. Second step in the cycle is the tension building phase. What's that look like? What do you think? Tension.
Maybe little arguments between them that cause that you have tension between them,
Mhm.
but they just put it off.
Yeah. Okay. What else?
I don't know, I think of that as like, y'all don't go out as much, y'all kind of like ignoring each other.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Stop. Give stop. That's great.
Anything else?
Lose your job, make you stressed out.
Yeah. So everything doesn't necessarily stop in the tension building phase. So one of the really good examples, I think, with the scenarios is your scenario where he's talking about he has to be the protector and he needs the passwords because he has to be the one to protect her, and she's not smart enough to protect herself on her own. Now, he very well could still, send her flowers, or he's still walking her to class, and maybe he's carrying her books, or he's opening the door even. But he's becoming more and more manipulative. He's becoming more and more, you're becoming more and more isolated. The last stage in the cycle of it is when you actually get abused. So this is when the abuse starts. You're being hit. You're being mentally abused. Maybe they're financially abusing you. So maybe like you get paid every Friday and they take all of it. Maybe you guys live together and she says to you, well, just give me the money for the rent and I'll take care of it. You think your rent's been paid, but it's not. And you go right back into the honeymoon stage. I love you. I'll never do that again. I'm so sorry. It was like a one-time thing. I have an abusive history. My dad used to hit me. That's why I do it. And it's continuous. Yeah.
So, I don't think it's the person who's being abused is at fault at all, not even 1%. But the problem is, when you're talking about a cycle, is if the person is going to keep allowing it to happen, not going to go to a third-party source, that cycle is going to keep continuing, and it's going to keep getting worse and worse and worse. So, it's kind of it's up to them to be able to speak about it. You know what I'm talking about?
So here's a good question then for you.
Yeah.
Why don't they leave?
Well, because of situations like you were talking about, how some people get blackmailed, or some people get threatened.
They could have fear. It could be fear.
Yeah, it's like rape. A lot of people who get raped, they can't speak about it because they're really afraid. So that's not. But I'm talking about when the relationship just starts and you have the option to say something about it. Speak up. Speak up. Go to somebody. Talk to someone about it. But if you let it happen, it's going to keep getting worse and worse, and you're asking for the cycle to keep continuing. That's just my opinion.
That's fine. Good.
Some people, sometimes it can be a situation where, if you're really young, you want that attention, and you want somebody, you want to feel like somebody's all about you all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I guess a good feeling. So when you don't really see what, us being older would see as abuse and being unhealthy and being toxic, you wouldn't see it as that. You would just see it as, oh, we're still young, still learning, and the cycle, it doesn't seem like it's a cycle to you when you're younger. So you need that comfort.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
you don't
Which is like, because it's only 7 months.
Anything else? Yeah, go ahead.
Lack of recognition, you might not recognize the signs, you might brush it
There's lots of reasons people don't leave right away. They may not know, they may not be able to, they may not financially be able to leave, there may be children involved, they could be threatened, they could be blackmailed, they love the person, they're in love with the person, they don't want to leave this person, they just want the person to change their behavior. They think if they stay long enough that they'll change, or if they, bring it up enough that it'll be changed behavior. So there's lots of reasons that people just don't get up and leave. The other thing that I want you guys to know, in most cases, this isn't every case, doesn't always happen like this, it takes a victim 7 times before they'll leave an abusive relationship. So maybe you leave for one night and get a hotel, or you sleep on someone's couch, or you sleep in your car even, and then they call you the next day, baby, I love you, I'm so sorry I did that. I had so much to drink. I'm not, just come back home. We can make this work. A few months later, you're back on that friend's couch, or you're back at a different hotel, or whatever. Same thing. Maybe this time they send flowers to your office, or they come to your office with flowers, and baby, I love you. I didn't mean it. You know that I didn't mean it. We can work this out. And it just keeps happening until that 7th time that victim is like, you know what? I'm not going back. And that's not to say that they are not intelligent to keep returning to that situation, because every time you leave the situation, you learn something new. So just because they don't automatically leave that first time it happens doesn't mean they're not preparing to even, or they're not learning as they're trying to leave. So from today, what do you guys think you're going to do to set boundaries in your relationship, or maybe improve your relationship, or even help others improve their relationships if you see that maybe they're not the best, or they're starting to get some bad habits in the relationship? What are things you guys can do?
So I think better communication would be really good. So in the sense of, is there anything bothering you? Am I doing something that you might not like? Mm-hmm. And then if you keep doing that, I think every single day, or not every single once in a while, you might have a talk. How's the relationship going for you? And they can express their feelings. I think that can really help.
Okay. Yeah.
I would have to say it's more or less out of, it's something I heard. I heard that in order for you to have a successful relationship and marriage, you have to fall in love with that person, not just one time, but over and over again.
So how would you do that?
I don't know,
that's just ideally. So let's say you're with somebody. What would you want to happen to be able to fall in love with that person over and over again?
I mean, it's not a specific setting. It's you do something, they do something that really impresses you. You would expect, they kind of function down what you would expect.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Okay. Anybody else? Yeah.
Maybe set boundaries from the beginning.
Okay. Is it enough to just set the boundaries though? Do you think?
Maybe not, but it's a start.
Right. I wasn't trying to trip you up there. You have to be consistent throughout the relationship. So if you do set boundaries, then you have to have that talk that he was talking about, 2 months into it, and say, how are we doing with this? Is there something that I've done that made you upset? Well, let's talk about it. Or if you are in an argument, what are you really arguing about? Are you arguing about the fact that you went to Chick-fil-A without him? Or is it the fact that you went somewhere in general and he didn't know? And then the other thing about communication is you can't listen to them tell you why they're upset and then just kind of dismiss it. You have to consider why they're upset, even if that means considering your actions and taking responsibility for your actions. You're just as equal in that relationship. So you have to consider well, what did I do? How can I make myself better for the relationship? And then what do I expect that person to do as well to make that better for the relationship?
Well, like you said about the Chick-fil-A thing, when like some arguments are just because of insecurity, so it needs to be able to tell that difference. Like, is this really like valid? Are we arguing about something that's relevant, or is it just because of your own insecurities and your own problems?
But you aren't the one. You can't be the one to say that's not a valid argument. I mean, it may not seem valid, to you that you're arguing about that, but to that person, it may very well, even if it is an insecurity, it very well may be a valid argument to them. And you have to, you absolutely have to be able to tell the difference, but you also have to be able to accept that insecurity and accept that difference and talk about it. Say, you know what, like, I understand where you're coming from, but what's really going on here? Why are we having this argument? How can we fix it? What can I do to make you feel like when I'm going to Chick-fil-A without you that I'm not cheating on you? And still stay in your boundary. What else? You guys have any questions?
Yeah, I want to ask. Okay. But this is something I want to ask. This is why I'm actually here. So, I think, abusive relationships, unhealthy relationships, really bad. But I think, also one of the bigger things, is another problem is, when somebody breaks up with somebody and then, blatantly spreads lies. Like, for example, there was this time where I was with this girl, and, she had, she had these friends that were not good friends. They were guys, they were not good friends. And, sorry, when I talk about this, I just get a little bit upset, so it's kind of hard for me to get the words out. But, there was this, and she had these friends that were not good friends, and they were, really, really bad people, and she knew that. And she came to me and she told me that, Omar, I'm going to block these people out of my life. I'm not going to deal with them. And I'm like, okay, that's perfectly okay. And, a couple months later, she just she messaged me, and she's like, you controlled me, you abused me, you made me block those people out of my life, you took advantage of me, spreads lies about me to, all my friends, and then breaks up. And it's I don't understand why, I don't know how to deal with that, because something, it's the guilt, the regret. It's did I actually abuse her? Did I actually control her? I don't think I did. But it's how do you deal with that kind of guilt? How do you deal with dealing with something like that? If that happens to you. So, how do I deal with, do I just tell myself I didn't do anything bad? Or and I don't know. And I don't think I did.
So, yeah, absolutely. So the first thing I would tell you would be, to really think about good times in your relationship, but think about bad times. So when you guys were arguing, how did you react? And I'm not saying that you are at fault in any way, but consider that first. And then maybe step outside and ask your friends, if we were together, do you guys think, I was too harsh when I did this? Or did I ever say something to her that made you guys feel like, I don't think I'd talk to my girl like that? Because maybe she's not someone that's going to be honest with you about how your relationship was, but other people will be honest about. And the other thing, too, to consider is what are your values and morals in a relationship?
So, recently, she's been trying to talk to me and stuff like that, and, apologize for it, because I'm not trying to be that guy, but, I'm not abusive. I'm not somebody that would ever take advantage of a girl. And, I don't know, it's just, I don't know, a lot of my friends have realized that I didn't do anything, because, as time passes, this is kind of how it works. A lot of people, they end up leaving people that actually care about them. And then they realize that, wow, I left somebody that cared about me for people that didn't really care about me. And then it kind of became obvious, and now, but at this point, she hurt me so bad, I don't even want to deal with it. But it's I just kind of want to let that out there that the guilt and regret in a relationship can feel really bad.
Yeah, absolutely.
You just have to make sure that you know what you did. And I learned from this, obviously, so I made mistakes. But I'm going to be very careful with who I'm with. And that's why I talked about the communication. I want to make sure I talk to my girl and say, is there anything that I'm doing that's bothering you? Because I don't want what happened in the past to happen again.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. But, yeah.
That's a big thing that goes with communication is your accountability, not theirs. You can't make them accountable for something, but you can make yourself accountable for your actions. So if that does happen, you can look back and say, you know what, I was the best me I could be for that person. And they left me for whatever reason, but it wasn't because of how I treated them, and it wasn't because of how I made them feel. Anybody else? Yeah.
Express your thoughts.
Mhm.
Because like you said, like it starts with the brain,
Mhm.
like how to manipulate you into that fear, having power and control over you. So like if you don't express certain thoughts, that makes you think, okay, I can overrule this person, or like I can use these conflicts to trick them and like think them like this is how I have control of them, which is pretty much a common aspect in most crime cases, like psychologically.
Yeah.
If you don't control the victim with their thoughts and their feelings, you're able to have more power over them.
Right.
And also you have to, like, even though you may think you will not, like, you won't fear yourself,
Mhm.
you have to also bring yourself, you know, to realize, okay, this is something that I'm afraid of, so I need to confront this, or something that could happen, and confront my thought on this about what, like,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, go ahead.
I feel like an important rule to follow by when you're in a relationship is the golden rule. I feel like if you don't want it done to you, you shouldn't do it to the other person.
Mhm. Anybody else?
Make sure you know who you're dating.
Yeah, that's a big one. Especially with Tinder, and I don't know anything other than Tinder. Somebody give me something. Farmers Only, I don't know. Plenty of Fish, isn't that one? I don't know. But yeah, you definitely need to get to know the person, and you need to ask their friends. If you're in the same class, ask the teacher. You need to get an opinion from others about how they interact with other people, just not you, so you get all sides of them. One thing I want to mention to you guys, so you guys in one of your scenarios talked about reaching out to a third party or somebody outside of the relationship if they needed help. So let's say you're in that situation and you need help. Besides the suicide hotline, do you know where to go? Would you know where to go? Let me rephrase that. Would you know where to go? You can start with the teacher. Everybody says that, but it's true. There's 2 right here. They're super cool. You could help. They could. The second is whatever county you live in has a domestic violence sexual assault agency. I live in Durham. I work for the one in Durham. Wake County's is called Interact. They have a 24-hour crisis line. All of the agencies have Spanish crisis lines. If you need that, they can call in a language line if you need that. They can help you get out of the situation. They can get you counseling. You can come to the courthouse and see someone like me who can help you navigate the court system or sit with you in court, or if it's God forbid this ever happens to you guys, if it's a case of sexual assault, we can meet you at the hospital. We can take you to the police station. We can come to the jail. I've been in the jail many of times. It's super gross. So you guys have options. You don't just have the hotline. The other thing too is you go to the LGBT Center in Raleigh and Durham. They can get you connections if you're worried about that so much, or maybe you consider yourself transgender or non-binary and you don't think you're going to get the appropriate services. Just going to the hospital or just going to the court system. There's advocates there too that can help you navigate. So don't feel like you can just tell a friend and you guys are in it and that's it. Or you tell a teacher and the she hears you or he hears you, but there's nothing they can do. You guys have options. That's pretty much all I got. If anybody is interested, I can give you guys my work number, so in case you guys ever need the situation or one of your friends needs it, you can call the work number and ask for Emily. I'd be more than glad to help you. Any of the advocates would be more than glad to help you guys. So, hope you learned something. It's okay if you didn't.
Do you have any cards?
I do not.
Oh,
They haven't came in yet.
okay. You need to get some.
I know. Thank you guys
Thank you.
for coming and sitting through it.